Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? Sorry I'm late again, but I'm here. It's humid here in this room. Do you like my Japanese fan? From a dollar shop a long time ago. But anyway, okay. Whew, just back from Tokyo. We came back last night. What time was it? Like 11 or so, I think. So we had dinner at 12 a.m. And then I passed out on the couch. Woke up this morning like, what? Where am I? But anyway, I see already comments here. Hey, Yoko, I tweeted you on one of your posts. If you're still in Tokyo, there's someone I want you to meet, but I have no idea where he is. His name is Dr. Steve Turley. He's a Trump supporter just like you. Oh, I'm back. I did see your tweet though, but our schedule was packed. So either way, I don't think I could have seen him. But is he located in Tokyo or is he just visiting there? Yeah, but I'm always open to new connections, which I had in this trip, which we came back from. So that was great, new friends, and also we reunited with our like original friends too. Like we didn't get to see some of some of our friends for a while, but we got to talk, so that was great. Okay. That would be an awesome meeting. Hey Yoko, are you aware about the whole ESG thing in Japanese game companies? It runs deep, apparently, especially with Sony and Sega. Are you talking about like the companies supporting some certain leftist ideology, or what is this ESG? ESG. Environment, social, and governance. Oh, this one should explain. 持続可能企業の長期的成長なんて、ごめんなさい、気候変動や人権問題など、社会企業が強い。中枢的な、少子化。Oh, I see. So that you have to be politically correct to like supporting climate change and human rights issues so that they can invest in you. I see, I see. Well, I don't like, I see the people on the right side looking at it just like a conspiracy theory and so on, like they are like conspiring, together and so on. But it's just today's world, it's the trend, like it's such a trend that you actually see on like fashion magazines and so on too. It's a fashion, it's the trend today. But um how you can counter to it, like I would just twist it to make it about China, because it is like I do care about environment and human rights. Like I am a human rights activist, and but I do of China, because when you look at the environment, China is the biggest criminal of this world, like damaging the earth. I met with Mongolians in Tokyo, and I'm just back from there. But we were talking with Mongolians, and we like I brought it up. I talked about the yellow sound that comes to Japan, and I asked like, where is it coming from? Isn't it coming from the desert, in so-called Inner Mongolia, which we call Southern Mongolia, the Mongolian part where China is colonizing, and China just destroyed the environment there, and so the desert spread and the sound attacks us, and even like according to them, it even flies to the west coast of America. it's it's a like China destroys the environment, and it affects the rest of the world, and they are also polluting the water too. So like, we can change it to China, like it's. I know that people are concerned about political correctness, and I am too. Like you should be all aware, but we just need the correct, like the right direction, So I don't like to react to things like, oh, this is happening, it's bad, and blah blah blah. No, I don't feel threatened because we decide the direction and what to do about it. It's all about principles and not the it doesn't come with content, it's just a vague abstract principles that the left is imposing to the world today. But the problems are made by all these authoritarian regimes mainly. I mean, the US should be, a little careful too. But yeah, because it's a car, um, like a car society, everybody drives a car, and there's a pollution and blah blah blah. And also the coal problem is there too. But we have technology, we can always, like those especially Japan, the US, Europe, we have technology. We can always you know go past the problem, so I'm not too concerned about it. And then people always bring up about LGBTQ and so on, and just general leftist ideology that the companies, like big corporations, are taking. It's the same, it's a trend, and we can control what to do about it. So I'm not too worried about it. Hola, Yoko. Hola. No hablo español. Okay, where's I need to greet to. We are fans of the fan. Yes. Okay. He's visiting. His wife is Japanese, and they were visiting. Oh, I see. Oh, hopefully next time. Hello, Yoko. I'm glad you had a good trip. Thank you. Yes, I really had a great trip this time. Okay, just scrolling down to see all the greetings. Hi, Yoko. Aside from politics, have you been checking out the Summer Games Fest? No. Were there any games you're excited for? No, I haven't been checking gaming for the past few months. Like since April, my health condition fell. I'm still bleeding. Like every time I go to the bathroom, I have to bleed, and it really is intense, and I don't know what's happening. And I'm getting skinny too. Like, do you see my arm? Like I'm getting skinny. Oh, poor Yoko. But yeah, but I'm much better than last week, as you can see from my energy. So like I'm getting better. But so I am planning on getting back to Call of Duty Mobile soon. But aside from that, I don't know. I haven't checked. Like, I can't afford games, So if you guys give me super chat, maybe I get to play video games. But yeah. Anyway, let's go back and read. This is a Q&A session, so please send me questions and I'll try my best to answer. Okay. There was this guy that commented about how the LGBT should leave kids alone and Call of Duty removed his merch from their store or something. What? LGBT should leave kids alone and Call of Duty. Oh, I see so much backlash. People are Oh, really? Maybe I shouldn't play Call of Duty Mobile then. Oh, but that's Call of Duty, the real video game, I guess. Huh. There was this banner though that you can use in the game that I think that was Call of Duty. The often like all this FPS, the shooting games can have banner that when you win, there's the banner, at the bottom and so on. And I think I saw the rainbow flag before. Was it Call of Duty? I forget, but man, yeah, but that's cool that people are, you know, aware, like politically aware. It's always good. Oh, super chat! Thank you so much. Gary. Unfortunately, I can't stay, but I would like to know what your thoughts about foreigners who say Japan will die out without massive immigration and multiculturalism. They often sound happy when you sing. I know which sort of people you are referring to. Yes, like it's like, yeah, you know what? I already know this is gonna happen, dude. Like I know, right? Like they have that attitude. It's so annoying, I know. Thank you for asking me that. But my thoughts about them. Japan won't die out with immigration. Without immigration, yeah. The the only fundamental problem that Japan is facing right now is economy. If when economy, like people want to have kids, but they are literally saying that they can't afford to have children, and that's why they're not trying. That's what they say when they are interviewed and so on. And it's obvious, like, oh, it's hard just to live. Like we can't, especially right now, not my area, and also Kansai area, like around Osaka, Tokyo, no, no, Osaka, Kyoto, and somewhere around there, and here Fukuoka and all this Kyushu island. We are good, but apart from our areas, the the almost entire Japan is suffering from the boost of our electricity fees, because we don't have nuclear power plants running and the economy is bad. So the electricity companies are raising their fees. So it goes up by like 20 to 30%. Like it goes up like abruptly, so people cannot afford it anymore, right? So they are suffering. And not here, I'm lucky. We have nuclear power plants running, and I guess that our electricity company is doing well, managing all the power source and so on. So yeah, we are good. Like we are better, but still it's hard to pay our rent and so on. And the whole like economy circulation is bad. And so of course, like when it comes to having children, it's difficult too, because it's hard to just to sustain our living here. Things are like with the inflation, everything is, the prices are going up, but not our salary. We're not getting paid more. Like we are forcing our companies to pay more, so it's happening gradually. The companies are bleeding, I think. They're trying so hard to make it happen, like, to get the flow going. But so that's the economic problem. And people, like especially people from overseas, they overanalyze Japan, because Japan has this culture, and oh, men are becoming like women, more feminine, and they don't have this masculinity, and therefore they're not having sex, or blah blah blah. They analyze like that. That's not the bottom cause. If if men can afford it to ask girls out, they would, but they can't. They don't have money to ask girls out and so on. So like it's all attached to the economy. So men will be able to become men again when the economy is back and so on. When the economy is bad, men don't need girls anymore. Men don't need women anymore. Because we have great services, and we have, when you go to grocery stores, there are pre-made meals, in a box and so on, so you can get like a certain things that you like and gather them. And if you just cook rice at home and mix up with what you buy at the pre-made meals that you get at the grocery store, then you have a great meal, so you don't need women, that cook for you and so on. And the washing machine is of course there, and then like all the amazing inventions can do everything for you. So like people can just live by themselves, right? So that's it's only when economy is good people want to have fun. We can't afford to have fun or to prosper, to leave our genes. It's hard for us now. It doesn't need immigration. Yeah. And multiculturalism, Japan is a multicultural country. It's I know that it doesn't look that way because it's a homogeneous country, but it's we like since the ancient time we always observed, like swallowed foreign culture and foreign wisdom, information, whatever that we can like we see, we just swallow everything, and that's our culture. We don't reject, because I think that it's due to our, what you call, like a religion. Our religion is not like Christianity or Islam or whatever. It's like we don't reject things, we co-live. So that's our culture and our religion. So yes, anyway, thank you for your super chat and great question. Thank you. Yoko, is Antifa and BLM in Japan as violent as they are here in America? No. I was like, no, by the way. um, it's not that. Those who push Antifa and BLM in Japan are the same leftists as always. They just changed the name of the movement that they have. So, but it's always the same kind of people. Like we know, like we can see them, and we can look at them and see who they are. Like we already recognize them. So like, and some people, like Antifa type, um it's usually attached to like those who want to protect Korean lives here, and also Japanese Communist Party type of people. Like it's a little different type of people merged together. But and some of them can be very violent, but they know, they are so very much aware of our legal system. So they will agitate you, but they know the line. So no, so they don't start vandalizing, they don't do that. Yeah, still Japanese, I guess. But not peaceful though. Like they're like, yeah, stop, stop racism and stop all this war and blah 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 and be peaceful. They say that, but they do appear very violent too. Like the actions and their message contradict. So that's always interesting, even here. Only you make the color black look elegant. Thank you. You know how this is a great tops that I got recently, and it has a little, you see that? I like the detail. But yeah, it's beautiful. But you know how much I got this outfit? It's like less than $3. Because I went to the recycled shop, like a second use place. I like going there. Like, I don't care who wore it before, it's clean, it's beautiful. And I don't want to pay, like, I can't afford, to have good clothes. So, anyway. La, 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 la. Well, Yoda asks. It's not Yoda, it's Dave. Do you have a favorite anime? I used to watch this metal anime, but My favorite anime? I don't watch anime. Oh, recently though. I don't know if it counts as anime, but I was watching Molcar for like, it's meant for kids. Molcar. Pui Pui Molcar. I don't know what it's called in English. You know, like a hamster. Molcar. Molcar. Okay, Molcar. Pui Pui Molcar. It's so cute, you know. Hamster, but it's a car, and it's an animation, but not the animation that you usually think of. Like they picture take a picture of this, and then it changed the form like the next scene, and then they combine them together and so on. So that's the only thing. The regular anime, I don't know. But growing up, I really loved Sailor Moon. Yeah, I wanted to become one of them. So like I remember when I was in elementary school, I would like, you know, raise my hand like this way, like a Sailor Moon people do. So that believing that maybe if I do this, I can turn into one of the warriors. So I used to do that. I do want to watch the movies though that are available on uh, on Netflix. Oh, Ryu-Han-Shin-san, thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yay. So good to see you watching this. Thank you. My husband, that by the way, is sleeping in the living room. So he'll be happy though that you gave me super chat. Thank you so much. We miss you. Yes. It's a Korean won. It's so cool that it's an international super chat, you know. The last time I got from South Africa too, right? That was cool. Oh yeah, stop motion. Stop motion. Yes. Yes. So cool that you can get it. Like what I'm talking about. Yes. I've noticed that a lot of leftists in Japan call themselves anti-war, but always give China a pass on its aggression. Yes, exactly. They hear that they can, like, they say that they can, whenever we conservative push the our policy to, you know, make Japan stronger, every time leftists in Japan, they say that, oh, we can hear the sound of the military boots, you know, that, oh, Japanese army will be back to do evil things. That's what our leftists say, but they never hear the sound from China or even North Korea. They don't hear that for some reason. And even nuclear weapons, we have nuclear power plants, right? Like it's not even weapons, it's just nuclear power plants. But of course, it's the technology is there. So it can be very controversial politically, but the leftists are against our nuclear power plants. But it's only Japanese nuclear power plants. And they never complain about Chinese nuclear power plants. And even the nuclear weapons that are aimed at us, you know? And North Korea too, they launch missiles, you know? And it can they are developing nuclear technology, so they can easily put the nuclear weapon, you know, on the missile. And it's very dangerous, but they never complain about that. Somehow they are only looking at our own country. Why? Because they are actually, I don't know how many of them are aware, but the core people, you know, that are agitating all these activists and so on, leftist activists, the core people are doing it to weaken Japan, of course. So, yes. Anyway. Japan has something like Antifa in the 50s to 70s. Oh, yes. Sengakuren. Yeah, those are violent. Yeah. They've been severely weakened through since the Sama Sanso. Oh, yes. They were, but it's not like they were in Antifa, but and communist, like different types of communists too. So like communists to communists, like there were lots of battles between communists, different factions, and they killed each other. So that were crazy, and they of course conflicted with the police. So many policemen were, is it like lynched? Is it an English word, lynched? Like bullied and beaten to death and so on. Like very like the way that they kill is just atrocious. It's yeah, I mean that they are communists. I don't know what it is about communists, but yeah, they do it brutally. I don't know how can they can do that. The Red Army too, they caused terrorism overseas too. So yeah, but that sort of like very violent criminal communists are now basically gone. They are much older, and the scary part is that all those leftist communists and so on, back in the day, once their movement in the 60s and 70s was done, they stopped doing that and went into our society like as elites. They just stopped it, but they were very educated, very much like well educated. Back in the day, those leftists were very smart, like they study hard and they know so much about all this philosophy even. And so they know a lot about the society and also philosophy and so on. And so they just stopped doing violent things and went to the society. And then they got promoted, and so they are in the media and the school and even the bureaucracy, and they're looking just like the rest of us, like normal Japanese, but they have this influence in our key organization and so on, and that's where they have the power. And so that's this even more scary part. If it's a violent things, then we can see what's happening and who's the leader and how it's structured. But we can't see that when it's hidden behind the organizations and so on. So that's the difficult part today. Yes, okay. Let's go back a little. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. ESG is leftism disguised as capitalism. Definitely look into ESG and BlackRock. BlackRock? Black. BlackRock. Oh, okay. It's a company? Okay. Thank you for your information. It is how Japanese companies can be node of control by globalists. Yeah. It's interesting that people look at the world differently. That Japanese people are kind of global, like we have a globalist mind, that because especially I think especially because we are an island country, that we know that we can't survive in this world by our own, and we just simply, like, Japanese people are so like, I don't know, we believe in this type of fantasy just like leftists, the world becoming one big family and so on. And so we don't have this, we don't have allergy against globalism, I think. And even former Prime Minister Abe, he was often criticized as a globalist, by extreme right wings. So, and rather the picture that we see is that the freedom nations against authoritarian regimes. So yeah, I don't know. Mm, I have to ponder on it, like what to think about it. At this point, boycotting this company is the only course of action that can pressure companies to never go woke. Let's these they face the consequences of. I think, yeah. The problem is that the problem of the world today is that we have many enemies, you know, and living in East Asia. Our biggest concern right now is China. China is right next to us, and we are deeply like more. It's more than America or as equal. I don't know the ratio, but like we have this feeling that we are silently invaded by China. And we do see what's happening in Tibet, Uyghurs, the Mongolia, Hong Kong, and today Taiwan is in danger. And we see that, and our sense is that the next is Japan. So that's all what we can think of right now. And we don't have the luxury to think about other dynamics. So that's, of course, that's a problem. But mm, it's interesting that Americans are very like aware of the problem of capitalism, how it can be taken advantage of by those who you politically opposed to. Yeah, but Japanese people, we are not very much aware of that sort of things. Hmm. This might be a bad question, but I have seen on the news that there have been a Somali American saying awful things to Japanese people in public, and I was wondering why he has not been sent back to the U.S. Oh, is it the black-looking guy on the train and so on? I haven't even seen that video because that doesn't interest me at all. Because some people are just idiots, and I'm like whatever. Yeah, because there are low people everywhere on this earth, and some people just should be, if they commit crimes, then that's a problem. But you reacting to low people, very low level people, that by reacting to low people, you are actually feeding them. So the best thing is to ignore. So that's what I do. And plus, like, I don't have time to react to idiots. So like, I care about CCP, and all the oppressed people in neighboring countries, and also like the threats that are coming to my country, and I'm spending my time to engage and contribute to the solution to that problem. So yeah. What Rahm Emanuel was pushing in Japan is what the ESG people push on corporations. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the I think that the biggest difference is just the values, the religious values, from America. Like American conservatives and right wings, they care so much about identity politics, you know, But over here in Japan, like we are tolerant to all genders. The only problem that we have when it comes to LGBTQ here in Japan is the legal problem. And aside from that, we welcome LGBTQ people because we always from the ancient times we have already always accepted LGBTQ is the new thing. I'm not even sure of the definition, so I can't really say about that. But LGBT is new too, I guess, with the surgery and so on. But yeah, we are very open, and it's part of why our culture is very deep and broad. We are very rich in culture because we have even that sort of aspect too from a long long time ago. And so it's not like we are against LGBTQ. It's that the legal things and also education and not the religious part like America. But the American right wings and left, the conservatives, they have problem religiously too. So, and I get that, and I'm not commenting on anything positive or negative about it. But let's just, recognize that America is a Christian nation, and it's different. The premise is different from Japan. So when you look at Japan, you have to think with the Japanese mindset. So I'm not too, of course, like education and so on, we need to be very careful, right? And also, I'm not saying that the minorities should be um, prioritized over the majority. I do believe that the majority should be prioritized, and the minorities' lives should be supported. Like they shouldn't be excluded. They should get what they should have, but it's not like we shouldn't prioritize them over us. And so that's the dynamics that I want to protect. But aside from that, I don't have negative things about it. And it's like in politics, what's important is that you always have to find the compromising point. you know give a little to your enemies so that it can settle, right? Just don't give too much. And yeah, you just have to end whatever they want, so give a little and just end. Hmm. Japanese people are generally skinny. I know. I'm not skinny, by the way. I'm really buff and a little chubby. That's how I am. But I'm not observing nutrition very well. Like my stomach just keeps running, so that's why I'm getting unhealthy. It's in an unhealthy way that I'm losing weight. So yeah, that's a problem. But I wanted to become skinny, so like just be careful what you wish for, I guess. Like it doesn't. It's always like, oh, I want to be skinny, and God is like, yeah, I'll let you be skinny. Just don't know your way. Just probably you didn't expect that you would be skinny this way. So that's the message, probably. Anyway, in Latin America, we have people fighting in the cultural battle. Some of them speak English. It would be a good idea if one day you could have an interview with one of them. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Latin America is like farthest. How do you say that? Like, it's the most like far country. It's on the back of our country, so it's really really far, right? And I never get a chance to talk to anybody from there, so that might be interesting. Yeah, like we don't know anything about Latin or South America. Yep, 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 yep. I'd like to help fund Yoko's campaign someday so she can afford to travel and meet people. Yeah, that would be great. Please. I mean, I have to do it by my own, I guess, and you can help, right? I mean, my husband and I think that my husband and I should launch something, like some kind of campaign so that people can support, you know. We were in Tokyo for, is it 5 nights? We went on Monday and came back on Saturday. Yeah, 5 nights, and it's all on us. And yes, that we need to do something about the system, But it's good that but I really really feel good when I do political activities in Tokyo, and also meeting like those who are oppressed, those who have the common enemy with us. It's always like eye opening, and things expand when we get together, so and it goes on to the next level. So I really feel like alive when I do that, and I want to do more because I only speak English, and that's like pretty much what I can offer. But still, like, I work with my husband, and my husband is really really like he's like he has this special gift, when it comes to politics. And like he's such a politician even though he's not elected, but he knows so much about politics and what kind of things that we should work on. And so like working with him is really really like, it's not like fun, but it's something that I feel like I'm meant to do. So I really want to contribute more. Mm. There may be one good thing about Japan's declining population. The smaller number of workers will make them more valuable to companies and able to leverage better deals, salary families. What's interesting is that was it yesterday or the day before I saw on the news the 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven had a contest of workers, the convenient, what we call convenience store, right? And there are people working, and they had this contest of those workers skills to interact with customers. So they do it like in a skit way, on stage. And on the stage they prepared this, or I mean they set up 7-Eleven mini store on stage, and there was this like 82-year-old customer, and the worker is supposed to give her service, and they competed what they can offer and so on. And the point was that everything is getting automated now, especially with the AI and so on, and that's the direction that society is going. But because of that, these skills, this customer service skill should be valued more. So that's what they focused on. So and they were competing on it. They had a contest about it. So I thought like, wow, that's like they thought it in the opposite way. So that was such an eye opener for me. That was very interesting for me. But yeah, and also about smaller population. Something that I've read is that it might just mean that we live like, I mean, it sucks for those who live in the countryside, especially if the land is carried on from the ancestors and so on. It sucks to move, but if we just move to like a compact city, if we relocate, if we relocate ourselves to live together, just in somewhere together, and build a city again, instead of everyone scattered around, those who live far just come together and live together, then that way we might be able to sustain our society. So that's one thing to keep in mind, I guess, that maybe that's the way that we can survive. It's all about like being together and building a community and having like different roles in the society. So yeah, the only problem that Japan has is that even if our population declines, we have much more people, more, like much many, no, not many, a lot more people, right? Like our population is way bigger than European countries, for example. Japan looks like a small country on the world map, but we have so many people. It's only 1/3 of America, but the America is huge, right? But Japan is we have 1/3 of the population of the US. That's a huge deal. It's way bigger than European countries and so on. And so so that's big. Even if we decline, it's still big. And the only problem is that there are more older people than young people. But then we have technology too. So we just have to be wise about it, I think. I don't know how though. Like, I'm not an expert on things like that, but I've got my box lunch. No need for like for why we are, right? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And also like a lot of Japanese people do love anime and comics and so on, and the female figures are so cute and very polished. We've had anime and comics for such a long time that the figures are very, very polished, right? So their ideals are very high. And at the same time, they can just enjoy looking at stuff like that. So maybe that's how they release all this frustration. I don't know. Um, 10 minutes to go. Mm. Cultural concepts to coexist culturally with different ideas. Yes. Okay. Oh, super chat. Thank you so much. I think the US is more high tension because the left is extremely dishonest with their arguments, which makes conservative react more harsh. I really watch anime, but I really like Kimetsu no Yaiba. It goes to another tweet, not tweets, comment. I think it's in a. I guess it got cut off, but thank you for so much for your super chat. Um, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I do see what you mean about the U.S. leftists. I mean, it's so extreme. It's different from here, So of course, like people with common sense would overreact to that. Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. But the problem of the U.S. is that the country falls into dualism so easily. It's this or that, and people are divided into half, and that's very interesting. Seen from another country, especially with a different kind of mindset. In Japan, even our political system, we have many different parties, right? And each can state whatever, and it's very different. Just many different parties, and we keep a balance of that, and that's our politics. But in America, it's this or that. It's Republican or Democratic party, and you just keep fighting and fighting and fighting, right? and then the policy goes this way and that way. And the administration goes like like zigzag. So it's America. The US is very interesting when it comes to how they deliver everything, But as I put in the title, what I'm concerned about is Trump indictment. And also, like, I feel or I realize that America is broken. Maybe that's a rude comment to make, but that's the impression that I have. America is broken because the left side is obviously using the legal system to attack the presidential candidate. They are supposed to, the leftists especially, it's a democratic party, right? Like, they are supposed to support democracy, but they are breaking democracy by themselves by weaponizing the legal system, right, to suppress the candidates for the presidential election. It's even the former president too, who the American people chose. And it's just so crazy that it's obvious, like, why now and why no Biden but Trump. It's not even fair, right? Like, why Trump only and not other people, and why at this moment? Because it's an interference to the election. And it's so obvious, even from here, looking from here in another country. And I don't have to side with Trump, right? Like, whatever administration is there, like, I'm willing to, work with America, right? Because I love the country, whichever side takes the leadership. I just love the U.S. I always loved the U.S. I'm fascinated by the country. And so what that means is that I see things objectively. I do have some preferences, but I don't attach my emotions to it. But still, like, I can see what's happening, because I know politics, right? They're doing it to attack Trump. They don't care about the content of the methods that they are using, which is the like, what is it called, like the document, the secret, top secret documents, and so on. It's so silly. And I can't believe that it still is treated like a normal thing in the US, that people people just accept this kind of weaponizing as it is. And you should never ever do that, right? So crazy. Yes, political division in the US is very vicious right now, but it's also like that in France, and South Korea. Oh yeah, South Korea. Yes, 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 yes. I was talking to my Korean friend, right, living in South Korea, and I brought up some problems which Japan and South Korea could work together with, like conservatives in South Korea, right? Like, the South Korea is of course divided to the Moon Jae type of leftists were so extreme. They kept destroying South Korea while Moon Jae had the power, and conservative people were against it, right? And today, President Yoon, he's doing great, but still, it's he's trying to work on the country, changing the course a little bit to the common sense side, instead of being pro North Korea. So it's good, but still, like, I hear that people there, even conservatives, are not like fully functioning. And it's the same for Japan too, that our people are conservatives in Japan are we there are so many different types of conservatives and right wings in Japan, that it's like we constantly, like, we don't really fight. Sometimes it does occur, but for the past few years, I think that we have been okay, but there are many different faction among the conservative community, and so yeah, it's so awkward, especially like when foreigners look at me and some other iconic people from here and think of us as the same, but we politically stand in different positions, and also what we believe in are different. So it's awkward when I am labeled the same as the rest, you know, and so on. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting though. Yeah, I think that in any country, the country is divided, just like not like the US. The American people are just so America and they like to have a revolution, you know. It's in their blood. They just Americans are like, "Oh yeah, you want to do it?" And they start fighting. Like Japanese people fight in different ways. We do the groundwork and we gradually just form our alliance, and then we trap the enemy and so on, and we do things like with invisible force. But Americans, they just want to confront, from face to face, like, yeah, let's do this. So it's so interesting. Hello, Yoko-san. Hello. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Pride and LGBT are no longer a community. They are a cult that prey on children. They use Pride and LGBT community as a mask to justify their criminal acts. How far have we fallen from moral standards? Yes, that's exactly it. And the problem is that the real LGBT type of people are still suffering. Like especially like I think that they are suffering even more than before now, because there are like genuine LGBT people just want to live just like the rest of us, right? But because the left is using the community, they are now like they've gained so many enemies that they didn't deserve. And there are, those who are using it as a mask, right? So it's like inside of their community too, I bet that there are different types of people. And I bet that I bet that there are some problems within the community, because that's what I see in Japan. Like in Japan, there are LGBT type of people too. And what's happening is that as for Japan, the LGBT, like those who claim themselves as LGBTQ, they stand up politically, and they work politically, having press conference and so on, and also they demand that they need the legislation and so forth. But the real LGBTQ type of people here in Japan, they stood up too, and they held press conferences too, and they claim that those leftist ones, those who call themselves as LGBTQ, those leftists are activists, working with parties like leftist parties, and they're not representing the real genuine like LGBTQ type of people. That's what they are saying. So I really I feel really bad, for those who are those who just want to live like like a, just those who want to live a normal life. Now they are not only coming out of the closet, but they are exposed to the public, and many people are going against them because of the leftist activists, and all the criminals that take advantage of what's happening. I do hear some news that there was some guy that said that he's a female and went into the what you call, like, the what you call that, hot spring, or something. And it's happening here already. But you know what I'm trying to say, that it's supposed to help the community, the LGBT community, but it's working vice versa, right? And it's even attacking females, like it's threatening females. And that's the saddest part, that it's actually creating more problems than you know they're helping. There are more problems than before. And I'm like, what are you doing? Hmm. America, Japan. US is very broken now. I voted Trump, really like a lot of what he did, but I also think he made Republicans too loyal to him, and his style is not popular in suburbs. Yeah. It's so crazy that he has so much influence now. It's the Trump empire, you know. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to be a leader because you want to make sure that you have all these loyal people, but at the same time you don't want to isolate yourselves by excluding everybody and so on, which can be said for Xi Jinping too. Like, I was watching this documentary about Xi Jinping recently on NHK, actually. But towards the end of the program, they were talking about how she is so, like, Xi Jinping has um now basically his what you call, like, administration, like, the regime, it contains his people. Usually, like, back in the, like, before that, like, there were, a few different other factions and so on, but now it's his country, right? But by that, he doesn't get to have all the information, because through enemies you actually learn a lot, right? Like, information wise. But because you excluded everything, if you exclude everyone, and then you don't get to hear all this important information. So isolation is not usually a good thing, like, politically. Like, at the end, like, that can put you in danger by the actions that you took, thinking that it can benefit you. Like, it will backfire. So, and that makes me wonder about Trump. Like, how is he? That he's powerful, and that's good, but at the same time, um, I really hope that he can keep the balance of things. Hmm. And also, as I said before, I wonder if he can actually win. If he is the candidate of the Republican Party. Hmm. Yoko, did you see the video of annoying black foreigner who was confronted by Japanese people for harassing people on the subway? Oh, I already talked about it, but no, I didn't see that. I mean, I do know about it, but I didn't spend my time watching it because, like, for what? Only to be annoyed? I'm not gonna do that. So, stupid people are stupid, so just let them be stupid. Now it is now in Trump versus globalist. Yeah, Trump has that way of seeing things, and that's actually, I don't know. It's an important perspective to have, but at the same time, if you look at the world like that, you can benefit your enemies. So like that's why I do support Trump, but at the same time, I do see some problems of the ways that he views the world. Because like, I don't know how to put this in English. Hmm. It's like if you can't be extreme in politics. The political world is how it is because of all the balance that we are keeping from many different perspectives. And so like, it's you have to be really careful of how you view the world. Hmm. A white Republican politician in Ohio now identifies as black transgender woman. And he's doing it to basically troll and make a point. Good for him. That's amazing. That's a courageous move because people will not. Of course, it's like he's trolling, so people are not gonna take you like seriously, and that could damage your reputation. So, as a politician, you need a good reputation. So, it's really courageous of that politician, I think, to do that. Yeah, it's crazy. In Japan, we have the legislation that that has been on the news, and right now, they keep back and forth, changing the wording of the legislation. The legislation in Japan about LGBT, it's only about the like the thoughts, like how to think about LGBT. So it's not really about like what to do about LGBT, but there's this one part of the legislation, about gender identity, and they keep changing the word, in Japanese, but it remains the same as gender identity in English. And in this international world today, we have to be careful about the English translation. But they changed some things in Japanese, which to like gender identity in a self recognition meaning to gender identity as in like a medical term. Like we kind of change it and then they change it back, and like that's happening. I don't know in detail, but that's what they're doing. Like is it like a self recognition, like that, like a identity or medical term? So that's what they are discussing. But the English translation is just gender identity. And yeah, so that's the problem that we have. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. The issue with Trump is he relies too much on personal relationships rather than organizations as a whole. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. It's it's so difficult because that's a good trait of him, but at the same time that can be bad of him. So that's really tricky. Mm, 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 mm. LGBT etc. doesn't mean homosexuals anymore because it has been joined by so many kink and people with mental disorders, as well as groups like MAMBLA. It's a total hate fest. total total hate fest. I see. Yeah. Yeah, it's so maybe we should just let them do whatever they want to, so that it's like a snowball, you know. Like, as a result, if you leave them for a while, it will like become so much different, just like you said. Like, I mean, it probably is already different than the original state, but then people with common sense can see how crazy it is, I guess. But it's so weird though. Like, what I don't get is how people don't get politics. You know, like, just like Trump's indictment, it's clear that it's just an attack against Trump, who is a candidate of the presidential election, right? It's They don't care about the content of the accusation. They just want to attack Trump, right? That's what they're doing. LGBT stuff, they're doing it for what? Like votes and so on. Like, it's a trend. And also, like, ultimately, like, with those who are like really core type of people, they want to push like socialist or communist type of agenda and so on. So like, there is always this political intention, right? Like, political intent behind every move. And I wonder why people just don't think about it. Because if you think about it, like, what looks on the surface doesn't mean the actual desire of all these political people, right? And why is it so hard to see the dynamics, like how things work in politics? Why don't people learn? So weird. Hey Yoko, 2024 is right around the corner. What do you think will happen if Trump is denied a second term again? I'm worried about the massive fallout. Yeah. That would look really, really bad. The, yeah, if that happens, then he would lose the trust from the society. I think that even though he was an amazing president, I feel like he would just erase his past. You know, oh, he's not supported at all, and he would just be like, his image will be worse, I think. So yeah, I don't want that to happen. Like, Trump administration was so amazing, you know, especially seen from Asia. We have problem of CCP, and we can't thank Trump enough for shifting the game to against CCP instead of terrorism. Like, terrorism was over, and then, you know, he ended terrorism, and then so the world can now focus on CCP. So that's what happened. And also, you know, Trump administration changed, I mean, installed all these important policies against CCP, like concretely starting began to, you know, tackle the problems of China. And it was consistent and coherent, and we were clear about what the administration wanted to do, unlike what Biden administration is doing today. It's so like, Biden administration is always in between, you know, like, it's so vague. And also, the administration does one good thing and then one bad thing, and like, we don't know where it's going. And also, the division in the US is even bigger, I feel. You know, people don't protest and so on, like, of course we don't see like BLM or you know, anti-Trump movement and so on, right? Today, like, it's not divided like that. But today, like, it's just the way that I see the US today is, it's so like, everything is scattered around and it's so messy. And that's how I see, like, it's not organized, you know, and that's really bad. And America is weak, so weak that even Russia took a bold move. So like, and that makes me realize that Trump administration was really good, you know, keeping down all these other dangerous leaders. and he did the best he could. And it was, everything was so political and professional. Today it's like we don't know where we are going, really. And so I do want to see him come back, but yeah, it's scary to think about him losing, and that's something that I don't want to happen. In the end, though, like if he becomes the candidate of the Republican Party, then I think that the conservative side of people can all unite, right? Like you never want to give the leadership to the left side again. So I really hope that they will all, cooperate together. But yeah, man, I'm really scared. Like America needs to be strong. And I wish that my country was stronger, of course, but we are living in the consequence of the past. America cursed us, when we lost a war, thinking that we were the bad country. So, of course, like Japan should have done better in diplomacy back then. But what has happened, and we can't, like, Japan can't really, like, we can be there, to, like, we can stand there together with the US, but we don't have the, like, equal amount of power with the US. So yeah, we can only support now, I think. And the US, though, needs to be strong, really, because it's affecting the world. And Biden is so weak. Like, even his physical state is weak. He's like falling in public, right? From the stairs. And he just a little while ago, he was like, he actually fell. And that's not that, like, a president represents the country, and that's really not a good look for the US. And we don't actually know what Biden is insisting, like policy wise. There are not many strong statements, and we don't know what the administration stands for. It's like, yeah, with a soft spoken voice, like we can't see the message. And also the country is divided, of course, and so, like, we can, I it's no surprise that, Putin and Xi Jinping and the rest of all these authoritarian leaders, like, they want to hurry up and push things that they wanted to do, because the next term, like, we don't know who will become the leader, right? Like, it might be Trump, so maybe they are hurrying up right now. And yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling, sorry. Let's see. Just scrolling down. Good evening, Yoko. If they succeed in this attempt to bring Trump down, our country is lost for good. Yeah, that's true. Like, it's a Trump. Trump is a symbolic icon of the right side. So yeah, that'd be bad. But I do know that there are people among the right side that think that Trump's age is already over, and they want they want a new leader. So I don't know. I want to know about that, like independent people and also the inside of the Republican Party supporters. There are those who are kind of tired of Trump. They want something fresh, someone fresh, and also something new. Never forget that Trump got his election stolen, but don't say it out loud. YouTube will punish you otherwise. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I hear the election is stolen every time that there's an election in America. So I don't know about the results. Mm, like why doesn't the U.S. fix the system seriously? Is it because the states it's different in each state? Like it's both sides always complain that it was stolen or it was like there were frauds and so on. And as coming from Japan, where the election is done very fairly and rightfully, like I wonder why the US doesn't fix the system. If they deny Trump and he doesn't make it, then we are just effed. Plain and simple, we may as well secede from the nation because I would never vote again in my entire life or care about the USA. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. It's I have an extreme right wing friend from America, and he says that he wants to get rid of the government. Like he says that America doesn't need a government, at least the current government, right? So, and then like there there are many like passionate Americans that are ready to have a war, right? Like a civil war. Like, yeah. It's like, man, I need to visit the US, I think, to sense the energy and so on. Like, so there's so many different types of people in the US that it's hard to, you know, get it. Once the uniparty establishment realizes the indictments won't knock Trump off the race, they will probably remove him anyway, like they did JFK. Yeah. I mean, look at what happened to our former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Anything can happen. So I really want him to be careful. Yes. Like today's world, I think that it's the economy, but there are lots of weird, like strange cases happening in Japan, like it's very like dark crimes happening in Japan. The number is low and that's why it stands out, but like our crimes here have been very dark and it's just like we're having this like creepy time, like it's weird. And I really I really want the economy to get better. It's the economy really, like it's so weird that humans are weird. If we have enough money and we can buy everything that we want, then people will be happy. It's just how it is. Like people are so simple, and now like it's dragging and dragging, and think the situation is getting worse. So the like we're in this big like vicious cycle. Hmm. We need to like for that. I think that we do need Trump. And about DeSantis, like I still don't know what kind of policies he has. Like in diplomacy and also like national security and so on. Like all I hear is about Florida, and I'm not curious of Florida. I want to know about what he would do as a leader of the country, and also meaning that what he would do as a leader of the world, because the US is the leader of the world. My country unfortunately isn't. It's the US. And I want to know what the next leader would think, what he would do. If I don't know, it might be Trump, it might be somebody else. And like I want to know what America would. Mm, 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 Man, I'm getting hungry. Hey, hey! They don't want to fix the voting system in the US because then their deep state stooges would lose power. Hmm. A second civil war is the last thing we want, but it's still, if it's our fate, then we have no choice. It is a hill I'm willing to die on as last resort before giving up. I feel like I'm just aware of there's I think it's a small portion, but there are people that are willing to fight, like ready to have a, civil war. So, but then like the majority, I don't think that they are not interested in fighting each other. And I just um I just wish that the US would stop fighting for a while, like stop the infighting for a while and focus on CCP, because that would that would resolve a lot of problems that we are all facing, and everything will go back to the healthy flow, and then people will be happy. And when people are happy, we won't be grouchy and we will fight less, right? We won't because it's like we are all humans, and what I notice is that those who complain about politics are often they are angry at themselves. They have problems within themselves and they project that onto the society and blame the society, but it's really coming from within. So if they become happy, then they will think of the society as a happy great place. So maybe that's how we should cure the society. Mm. It's great to see how popular Trump is in Japan, a direct result of clear thinking, highly intelligent people. We seem to be sadly lacking that here today. Isn't it interesting that people are so easily deceived by media's narrative? Whatever the headline says, they believe it. And whatever the media says, even though there are so many TV shows and movies about how the media can lie to you, people have people haven't learned the lesson yet. Like, why? Like, why is it so hard? So weird. So weird. Hmm. I think that as for Japan, we just welcome anybody with great personality. Even Obama is actually liked by Japanese people, especially when he visited Hiroshima, even though that's like an apologetic tour for American conservatives and patriots. But to us, like, we felt like he heard us, and it was a good gesture for Japanese people. And even though for Americans it probably means different things, but for us it actually boosted the image of the US, that, oh, like, we can trust America now, or like, oh, America is thoughtful, or something like that. So yeah, Japanese people tend to be like that. Like, we don't I wish that people were more aware of politics, but people don't think about politics much at all. So uh, they believe anything. But I guess that's the same for America. So that's probably how it is. Hmm. Because the culture is so split, the only good solution to avoid fighting is making the federal government much smaller and letting states do most things except foreign policy. Ah, that might be a good idea. Yeah. I realized that I think Japanese people, we have we have been somewhat peaceful. Like we are peaceful people, right? And that's probably because we don't try to control others. Like we like different communities exist, and that's it. Like nobody tries to rule the entire thing. We're like a bunch of small communities and mind our own business. So that's probably why. Like just look at the business world too. Like it's not like big corporation, ruling all the economy. It's like it's what's sustaining our economy is the small companies, a bunch of small companies. Same for politics. It's like LDP is too huge today, but still like we have many parties, and that's how we keep the balance. So like it's always like for us it's a small groups, and then becoming together. So what that means is that we don't try to control each other, we respect each other, each group, and then we try to find a way to work together. But when it comes to America, it's the entire ruling, right? The federal government, that is. Yeah, that's a good point. Because for me too, like when I don't like people, like certain people, then I try to distance myself from that community. So same for like a country level too, I think. This has the personality of a wet towel. Huh. That's an interesting expression because I just read it literally. Shinzo was a better leader for Japan than many others. Yes, yes, he was so charismatic. He was just different, And what's crazy about Shinzo Abe is that it's not only the conservative people that loved Shinzo Abe. Like he was such an iconic prime minister for us, that fixed our country um, for the better as much as he can. And his administration was so stable, and the economy was very like it was more like a little bit better than today, and so on. Like he did fix the economy, even though he had to, by the pressure of our finance ministry, he had to raise the consumption tax twice, and he boosted from 5% to 8% and then 10%. So that's such a bad move. But aside from that, he really made our country better. So, those who, and that was a long administration too. So people just saw him on TV often, that we recognize him as our leader. And he has a cute personality, he has a great personality, that very likable personality, that everybody just loved him except for leftists. So yeah, and then his policies were legendary, involving all these other country leaders. So that was a really amazing. Honestly, I think DeSantis is rather overrated. Sure, he's got a lot done in Florida, but that was only with our, our Republican control of Florida Congress. He is never faced a serious political opposition like Trump has. Ah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, it's amazing when you think about how many enemies that Trump has, and he's still the way he is, regardless. And also, like people keep forgetting, but he doesn't have to do this, right? Like he was a celebrity before, and he was a great businessman, and he didn't really have to do this, but he is sacrificing himself a lot to do what he is doing today. Yeah. I don't know how far, but it can be like by becoming the president once, though. I don't know how much political desire he has gained, though. Yeah. I want to meet Trump one day, so just so that I can see what kind of person he is, you know. Like meeting in person gives you like all the extra information that you can't usually get through the media and so on. So, mm. Oh man, I've been speaking for an hour and a half. I should go. I'm hungry too, even though I eat and then it runs. It's sad, but I still want to eat. Mm, I think Japan needs to bring back samurai, but more make the make the requirements of becoming samurai a difficult test in education. Yeah, that'll be cool. But the problem with Japan is that we don't have many warriors now. Like we want more applicants, but people are not applying for self-defense forces. So that can be a problem, but at the same time, we can probably make robots just like Russia is inventing. I hope that our people are doing that too. I feel like soon, like even in Russia, you know, the soldiers are running away, and also the longer the war lasts, the less you have, the less soldiers you have, right? So it's a matter of time, right? Like of course, like Putin is hiring foreign warriors to fill up the vacant seats, but still, like it's a matter of time. And in the future, I feel like Russia, especially, they, I bet that they can create clones and also robots. Like they have him, I've seen some footage of like great robots, you know, that can jump and so on. And so maybe our generation, the war might shift to like you know, controlling robots or something. I don't know, but yeah. But samurai today, though, by the way, I don't think the Japanese people today have the mentality to become samurai anymore. I am like samurai. I'm really like I'm such a fighter. But most people, they're, because our country has prospered, people are so distracted by the luxury and so on, you know, the superficial things, and also they're disconnected. The biggest thing is our education. And what part of the education? The problem is the part of our history that is cut from the modern days, like today. The history education needs to be, it needs to be connected from the very origin to today. You should never divide that history, right? But in Japan, it's cut off at the timing of the World War II. Like, oh, the World War II, our people were bad, so let's just cut it here. And no, we are different now. So then by doing that, we are distancing ourselves from our roots, you know, by calling our people in the World War II bad, we are denying the rest of our ancient history too. So including samurais and so on. And we don't feel proud, right? Like patriotism is very, very important. I know this because I've experienced this. I was like, before learning about the true history of my country, or at least like Japanese perspective of history, I was so like, I didn't have that like vitality, and also like I didn't feel the mission as a human being, you know, that my roots were disconnected from me, that I felt so alone. And also I felt like I was ashamed of myself, and all these bad things, like what depressed people usually feel. Like I was feeling all those things. But once I learned how our people fought for the cause that they believed in and so forth, and all the political situations and all the really like tough, severe situation, and still our people fought and so on. Like when I learned that, and also about our our origin of our country and so on, and how it has lasted for over 2000 years, the same bloodline. When I learned about it, I was like, wow, like and I'm Japanese, and I started to feel really happy and very like a chosen, right? It's amazing that I chose to be a Japanese. Like I came to this world, I'm a Japanese person, and like who has all this historical backgrounds, and I feel so blessed, right? And that's very important. But people today, though, don't get to experience that. Like because the education here sucks. But yeah, so I think the education needs to be better. Shinzo Abe tried his best to fix our education, and it's gotten better, but not enough. So, ah. Mm. As long as the U.S. remains a banana republic, it will never regain the credibility needed to lecture countries like China or Russia how to conduct themselves on the world stage. That's true. Yes, unfortunately, that's so true. Seriously, America, like Trump has that though. Like Trump has that attitude, that can he like sometimes in politics you have to be just arrogant and just lead, right? Like just follow me, right? You have to do that, and Trump has that personality and also the reputation and so on. Like he's allowed to be that, and also like we can trust him on that and not other people. So for that, I think that Trump is actually a good candidate still. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Putin wouldn't have this bold move, if it was Trump. At least like under Trump's leadership, I bet that the U.S. could gain the information, what's happening in Russia and what Putin is thinking, and they would have stopped him before that happens, and also do lots of negotiations, right? Mm, yeah, yep. Obama seems smart because he read his speeches from a teleprompter. That's so true, I think. Yeah, Trump speaks from his mind, so yeah, that's different. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, our politicians use teleprompter too, even Shinzo Abe. So like when our politician speaks, they like whether it's Abe or Kishida today, they speak so freaking slowly. It bothers me, but like very slowly with a little bit of chunk each time so that they don't make mistakes. When they make mistakes, the media bashes them. So they're very, 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 very careful. So that's yeah. Yeah, but Obama is eloquent. So yeah. But Obama used to be an activist, right? So, like, but he is really good at what he does. But he's just on the left side. Yoko, you are completely LGBTQ friendly, and I kind of like that. Yeah, I mean, I like the because like when when it comes to gender, I'm in between of man and female. Even though I'm completely female, I work with men, so their thought process is installed in me, and I think like men, and I don't get women. You know, I don't get along with women. Seriously, like it's weird. Like they are different creatures from me, and that's how I feel. I know that it's not how it is, but that's how I feel. Like identity, right? And so, um, I do understand the struggles that they have, in the society and so on. Like I do feel lonely when it comes to gender. Like there are similar type of women like myself in the society, but it's really rare, and it's so rare to have occasions to hang out together and so on, because we are all grown-ups and so on. So like I know their struggles, and at the same time, like all those people that go through hard times, they become like bigger people, bigger hearted people with skills that can that deserve lots of no, what is it called, like they should be praised and so on, admiration. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how I see them, the real LGBTQ type of people, and that's what makes them beautiful. But when it comes to activists, trying to use that community to change Japan into something else, then I am gonna, oppose to that. But yeah. Hmm. Because like this time, like I went to Tokyo, and I, you know, um, worked there for five nights, and I mean five nights stay, so like 6 days I was working in Tokyo. But wait, what? Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I realized that every time I go to a place, some meeting after meeting, I'm the only female pretty much. Sometimes the National Diet member that we met were female, or the institution that I visited, actually Yoshiko Sakurai's institute, we visit there, and of course Yoshiko Sakurai is the female, and then there were a few female, but the majority are men, right? And I live in the every day I'm just hanging out with men all the time, that it's like it's weird, like you start feeling like you are meant to. Yeah. Anyway, Yamamoto, I hate Yamamoto, I hate Yamamoto. No, he's bad, he's bad, man. He knew that his troops were gonna get attacked, and he just ran away by himself, hiding in the back. So no, 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 no. Anyway, I should go, man. Tokyo must be super cute. I mean, cities become like that, I guess. I don't know why. Like urban cities are often like that. It's weird. Hmm. Maybe the solution. Just reading these comments, I realized, like, you know, maybe we should like make all the places like countryside, or like at least like suburb area. Like stop developing the cities in the way that we're doing now, and make it more like suburbish place, so that all the places will be conservative. Isn't that interesting? Like city type of people. Is it because like individualism becomes stronger in the cities? I wonder. Hmm. Is it just me, or did you dye your hair it looking more reddish? Oh, you actually got that right. It's red. It's a little red. I mean, like after washing it like for a few times, the redness disappears, but I guess that it still has a little bit of redness. Yes, you're right. You got it right. I like red hair, like I'm not gonna dye my hair in the real red, but like, yeah, red or orange ish. Like it always like catches my attention. Yeah, red hair is cool. Yep. And I I skipped the. Okay, it's all of Tokyo. They can run you how they want. That'll be interesting though. The social experiment. Just give it should be like a city place, and then all gay people. That might be interesting then. Interesting, interesting. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I should go. It's like nearly 2 hours. I'm so happy that I can keep talking like this. Like as you know, like I didn't have this much energy for months, 2 months or so. Finally, I'm back to this point. Still, like, I'm not, it's my intestines are no good, so I still have problems in daily life. Like, I want to come earlier, on live streams, but when I wake up, it's the worst. And I need like hours and hours, preparing. So, but yeah, I gotta go. Stay forever, your core. Man, I need to walk. I haven't walked today, so I need to walk too. And then eat something. Eat something. Did I eat anything today? A little bit. No, I just drank amazake. Do you know amazake? Amazaki, you might say. Like rice, fermented rice with, what's it called? Koji? Koji. Koji ってなんて言うんだ? Koji. Fermented rice with malt. Oh, malt. Or yeast or 米麹って言わなきゃいけないの? Maybe 米麹? Malted rice? Oh, malted rice. So like it's a fermented stuff and it's a sweet drink and it's very nutritious. So that's what I had. And a bit of sweets, which I shouldn't, but I'm so frustrated I had. So that's it. So I'm so hungry. Theory is that rural areas is more conservative because they are close connected to the nature and loyal community. That's a good point. Nature and loyal community. That's what we need. That's what we need. Yeah. That means though that they're disconnected from the nature, like leftists or all this progressive people. They are disconnected from the nature and they are not blessed with loyal community, meaning they're sad people. Isolated from the earth, isolated from other humans. they're they're so alone that they are angry at the society, so that they want to control and they want to just change the country. That makes so much sense. Thank you, Yoko. I enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed talking to myself and you too. Mainly, I feel like I was talking to myself, but I'm so happy that you were here and listened to me. Thank you so much. Yes. I'm sick all the time. Oh no. Yes, thank you. I hope you will feel better too. Thank you so much. Street Fighter 6 just came out? Okay. Oh yeah, that's true. I was really like I think she's the world champion, but there's this woman, like a female wrestler. She's promoting a Street Fighter 6. Yeah. Take care. Hope your day improves. Thank you so much. Thank you. Macaulay? Maybe. But it doesn't have alcohol though. But it's fermented and it's sweet and it's good for your health. But I'm disconnected from the reality. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna go. So thank you again for coming, and those who gave me super chat, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Next week I should be here next week, so let's get together next week. Okay, hopefully earlier time. So thank you so much, and have a good day or good night. So okay, depending on where you are. You could stay. Gotta go. Okay, this is hard, but I'm gonna go now. Okay, thank you. Bye.